Okay, hi, we're back. Today, I wanted to discuss why old souls choose difficult, specifically romantic relationships. There's such a common pattern, myself included, of having a hard dating history for people who are here, who feel like they are here on divine assignment, that they are here to rapidly evolve, grow, expand. They may be the black sheep of their family. They may feel like they've never just quite fit in with this world in general. They may have always felt like their life will never look quite typical to other people. They just know that they're here and destined to do something that looks a little different from a large majority of other people. And so these types of people I find most often struggle with romantic relationships. And I have done lots of noticing and pattern recognition to see why it is that people such as that have such difficult dating and romantic relationships, why their romantic lives are so hard, especially in the first half of their life, below the age of 40, let's say. And so my understanding from personal experience is that old souls choose pre-planned ahead of time. Many of the relationships are karmically planned to have relationships that mirror the wounding that they are working to overcome and outgrow. So I made a little list here. Let me read you my examples. So that many of the wounds that these old souls carry can look like being unable to hold or set healthy boundaries, being unable to speak truth, being unable to honor their own needs, feeling unworthy and not having inner strength, fearing rejection, fearing betrayal, fearing abandonment. And then likely that means that those characteristics then attract characteristics within another partner that look like not respecting boundaries, lying or attacking when truth is spoken, self-centeredness, belittling, nitpicking, controlling behaviors, isolating that partner. So then what is it teaching you? It's teaching healthy self-worth and confidence. It's teaching feeling safe to speak your inner voice. It's teaching self-acceptance. It's teaching discernment and self-trust. It's teaching you how to choose yourself. Because these relationships, again, are mirroring back to you exactly what you still are working on within yourself. That if you are fearing, for example, fearing rejection, then you have to ask yourself, what parts of me am I still rejecting? If you have faced rejection over and over and over again, what parts of yourself have you rejected? And what is the antidote to that? It's self-acceptance. If you are fearing betrayal, if you are fearing being cheated on, God forbid, then what is that teaching you? It's teaching you to have discernment, to have self-trust, to use your intuition. Because the thing is, your gut knows, your heart knows. But if you fear being fooled, if you fear having the wool pulled over your eyes, then the antidote is learning how to use your intuition and discernment, self-trust. If you're fearing abandonment, God, this was a huge one for me. If you're fearing being left behind, if you're fearing that somebody is going to switch up on you and change their mind, what is that teaching you? It's teaching you to choose yourself first. Because if you truly choose yourself, and you can still choose yourself and be in relationship, but if you truly choose yourself without self-abandonment, without self-sacrifice, without diminishing your true voice, then that means that if someone does reject you, if someone does abandon you, if someone does switch up on you, then you say, it's their fucking loss. Then I'm off to find something better. Just wasn't in alignment anymore. Rejection is redirection. So the point is that these difficult romantic partnerships that keep repeating as these repeated patterns are happening for a reason to push you into moving past the wounding that you just don't need to carry anymore. So many people walk through this life having repeated experiences over and over and over again. And it's not to say that they should blame themselves for having the repeated experiences, but it is to say that they are the common denominator in what they are experiencing. They are the common denominator. So that instead of pointing the finger and saying, well, all men are trash, or all women are controlling, or whatever these people say, that it's them, Wouldn't it do you some benefit to say, if I'm pointing the finger outwards, I've got 3 fingers pointing back at me? Don't you love that? I love that. I did not come up with that. But I've got 3 fingers pointing back at me. This is showing me something about myself. This is giving me an opportunity to do more inner work. This is giving me an opportunity to have more self-acceptance. This is giving me an opportunity to up my intuition and my discernment. This is giving me an opportunity to learn how to fully choose myself. If I am seeing repeated patterns, if I am choosing partners that all carry a similar theme in the way they feel within the relationships that I have, then I am the common denominator. What are these experiences trying to show me? So it's stepping out of the mode of victimhood, not self-blame either, though. You don't want to veer too far on the other side, but to land somewhere in the middle and say, clearly I have been experiencing a pattern, and clearly I am the common denominator within this repeating pattern. So what are these experiences trying to show me? What can I be offered from these experiences? What can I learn? What patterns within myself can I now evolve out of? Can I move past? Because I don't need to keep repeating this anymore. I don't need to keep repeating the same grade of school any longer. If you see them as tests, then isn't it time to say, I don't need to be tested on this anymore? I know the answer. So the thing is, you would do so well to find a lesson, any lesson. And I know so many people say, well, I don't know what it's showing me. This is hard. But if you start to really dig deep as to what the common denominators are of each of those partners, and you start to map out what the common traits are, then go back and start to draw that out to what would be the opposite of that trait. So if I have manifested controlling partners, if I have manifested partners that are verbally abusive, then what is that saying about myself? What is that saying about my relationship to myself? What is it saying about the treatment that I believe that I should tolerate? Because these relationships also mirror the treatment that we had growing up. They mirror familiar dynamics that we are used to from our childhood. So that if you had parents that would talk down to you, if you had parents that wouldn't show up for you when you needed it most, if you had parents where you had to walk on eggshells and you couldn't express your true needs, then likely you may find that you're in relationships, let's say it's with men, that carry out those same traits. So that then it's not to say that all men are like this, but it is to say, why would I be choosing these same dynamics over and over again? If I'm not consciously choosing men like this, if they switch up on me after 3 to 6 months, why would I still be creating this? Because there are unresolved patterns that are seeking to be resolved within the eyes of another, you see. It's actually a gift. The most troubling, most difficult relationships are the greatest teachers. And whether or not you consciously chose that person, you did on the soul level. You did on the soul level. That's the definition of a karmic relationship or of a karmic contract. It's 2 souls coming together to work out unfinished business, likely from other lifetimes, but to assist each other in sorting out their emotional wounding so that they can grow and evolve. That's usually why karmic relationships don't last anyway, because the purpose is not eternal partnership, but the purpose is to trigger each other enough that they reveal the hidden wounds that they have yet to see and work on. And then again, they can resolve it and move past it. That is the whole point of these relationships. If you have a series of difficult relationships, then that's a good sign, because that means that you are learning so much. That means that you are here to do big things in this life. If you have taken on a tall order in the department of romantic relationships, that means that you are here to clear a lot of karmic baggage. You are here to learn and evolve past a lot of wounding that you no longer are meant to be carrying. You signed up for all of this. It was all a choice. Those other romantic partners were playing a role for you, such as you are playing a role in this flesh bag that we're all in. Sorry, that's gross, but in these physical bodies. They're playing a role for you to help you move past those wounds, to trigger you, to illuminate what you're still holding on to. That is not truth. That is not truth, that these wounds, these insecurities, these fears of rejection and abandonment, they are not true. They're not real. They are all based around illusion. Our true selves are rooted in love, security, joy, abundance, self-trust, self-honoring. That is our truth. So anything that lies in the opposite realm is false. It is an illusion. So if these relationships are triggering you in those subjects, those areas, then those relationships are built on illusion as well, so that you can then start to see it as illusion. You can start to see them as playing a role for you. In my last karmic relationship, because God, I've been through so many at this point, my last karmic relationship was like the final boss. At least I hope it was the final boss. It was the final boss. He was the worst, but he was so covert about everything that he was doing that it really was an exercise in intuition and discernment and seeing ahead to really get to the root of, why am I so attached to this person? Why have I fallen for him so deeply? And why am I so fucking deeply triggered by him? But the best part was when I was able to see, for me, it was the 3 key themes of what it was teaching me or helping me to polish of the skills that I now have. I could see what it was all for. And then that emotional intensity was gone. It no longer felt pointy and jagged and ouchy when I would think about him. Because again, I could see that he just played a role for me as I played a role for him. Whether or not he learned anything from that relationship, I don't know. It's not my responsibility. But I certainly learned a ton with him. So here are the 3 things that I learned. This is my list. The first one was a fear of abandonment. And that taught me to choose myself first. Clearly, if I'm fearing abandonment, then you have to ask yourself, I ask myself, in what ways am I abandoning myself? In what ways am I abandoning myself? In what ways was I putting myself last? And I'm asking you, if you are fearful of abandonment in romantic relationships, where are you still abandoning yourself? And the antidote to the fear of abandonment, the antidote to abandoning yourself is putting yourself first. It's choosing yourself. It's truly, fully, solely honoring yourself, choosing yourself, putting yourself on the pedestal, seeing that you are at the center of your universe. Self-centeredness gets a bad rap, but of course we're going to be self-centered. We're in the human experience under the illusion of being separate from everything that is. We are here experiencing ourselves as a singular identity. So of course we're going to be self-centered because we are at the center of our own personal reality. Duh. The second lesson that I learned was fear of betrayal. Fear of betrayal, fear of having the wool pulled over my eyes, fear of being cheated on, fear of somebody switching up on me. Well, it got really dark in here. And what did that teach me? The fear of betrayal taught me to use my discernment, to use my intuition and my self-trust. And thankfully, I had already been getting good at using this, so I was starting to see the deception in this person. I was seeing it before he was already putting the deception on me, so to speak. I could see the holes in his arguments. I could see the way that he was spinning things around and taking me for a run around the block. But I know that if I had stayed in that relationship, it would have gotten much worse. Much worse. He would have switched up on me way more if I had not left when I did. But I left when I did because of the skill of discernment and my intuition. And the last thing that I learned from him, which was so clear, was self-acceptance. That still in relationships with him and the relationships and dating experiences that came before that, I didn't accept myself yet. I wasn't fully accepting of all that I was. I was afraid of being rejected. Afraid of people rejecting me if they saw me for who I really was, because I wasn't fully accepting myself yet. I would hide the fact that I was a channel. I'd be embarrassed by it or other parts of myself. So that then that experience taught me to see the ways in which I was still rejecting myself and to truly pour more self-love into my vessel, to pour more self-acceptance into my being. And after that, I became no longer so afraid of rejection. I became no longer so afraid of betrayal because I had self-trust, discernment, and intuition. I became no longer as afraid of abandonment because I had already been choosing myself now. But that relationship was so delicious and so perfect because it really just hammered all those things in. And the crazy part was that relationship was only a matter of a few weeks. So it doesn't have to be a 5 or 10 year relationship here. But if there are recurring patterns within the romantic partners that you have, then start to identify where you have been lacking in self-trust, using your discernment, in accepting yourself, in using self-love and honoring your needs. Where have you been lacking? And then to use those examples to pour that back into yourself. Every aspect of our life is a sum of who we are. That if we have a relationship that is not honoring us, not respecting our needs, our time, where we are fearing abandonment, rejection, if we are fearing that they won't accept us, then we always have to turn the three fingers back at us and say, where am I not accepting myself yet? Where am I abandoning myself? Where am I judging myself? Where am I not honoring myself? Where am I not speaking up about my own needs? What patterns am I perpetuating that I may have seen within my childhood? You see, so that these most difficult relationships that trigger the frick out of us are truly our greatest gifts. They are our greatest teachers if we choose to step out of the victim mentality and to see them as such, as our greatest teachers. Because I'm telling you, when you can find the lesson, any lesson, when you can open your eyes, open your heart, open your third eye, you will see exactly the role that they played for you. You will start to see exactly why you chose that experience at the higher level, why you chose it from the soul's perspective. Because now that you are out of it and you are evolving past those old wounds, you can see what it was all for. You can see what it helped you with. Life is not going to always be sunshine and rainbows. If we hold wounds, if we hold baggage, if we hold a pressable button, then we're going to be attracting experiences to resolve those wounds, to confront ourselves, that will press our buttons, that will trigger us. That's just the way life goes. That's the law of attraction. That's the part of being here in the physical experience as a soul, an eternal being, having the physical experience. We come here with certain objectives in each one of our lives to learn and evolve past certain core themes. Insecurity, judgment, vanity. These are patterns that we come in with that we then are planned to move past through certain life events that trigger that pattern to us, that illuminate that pattern to us, that mirror that pattern back to us. And others sign up at the soul level to trigger us, to play a role to help us in seeing that, to help us in moving past limiting beliefs, emotional baggage, emotional wounding. So that I say to that karmic partner that I brought up today in this TED Talk, I say to him, thank you. Do I ever plan to speak to him again? No, but I say thank you because I can see the role that you played for me, and I am eternally grateful for the ways in which you set me free, for the ways in which you gave me a run for my money, for the ways in which you taught me invaluable lessons, for the ways in which you were so awful to me so that I could finally get it. That I stopped giving you the benefit of the doubt and I started to question the benefit of you. Ooh, wasn't that good? I stole that from somewhere online. I stopped giving men the benefit of the doubt and I started to doubt the benefit of men. It's not to say that I'm a man hater, but it's just to say that I've become realistic in seeing people for who they are. Seeing people for who they are and honoring myself, honoring my needs, honoring what I want in a relationship. And then from there, sister, you're off to the races. When you have true forgiveness for the people of your past, because again, you see them for the role that they played, then you let them go. You let them off the hook. You can tell the story just like I do, but it's kind of funny at a certain point. I don't hold any emotional baggage to any of my exes. I just laugh. I think it was all kind of a funny play that we were a part of. I laugh at myself for crashing out, for going nuts. I laugh at myself because it's like, wow, I didn't know any better, but also I was really going through it. But God, was I learning a lot. And sister, if you look back at your experiences, you will see that too. You are coming up upon the best season of your life romantically. If you have been struggling in the areas of romance, dating, relationships, and you have been doing this work, you are being set up for so much good in your life. So much good because you have been doing the work of clearing these emotional blocks, of clearing these wounds. You have been going through karmic partner after karmic partner to get you to the place where you can finally step into accepting divine love because you know what you're worth. You'll be able to see it and spot it when it shows up because it is then a match to who you have become. Confident, effervescent, self-loving, self-honoring. That divine love has to become a match to who you are now. It's not an aspirational thing to call on love. It's a match to who you are now. So that is why we go through these trials and tribulations, so that we can get to the place where we can meet our divine love because we have left behind all that wounding, all that baggage. Now you are ready for divine love, such as I am, and we will know it when we see it. Okay, love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're here at 20 minutes and 23 seconds, if you want to see more, I'm linking my TikTok and Instagram in the show notes. I offer one-on-one sessions. I offer courses. I do live channeling events. I channel Raphael and the Divine. I do so twice a month. They're donation-based. You can register with your email in the show notes in my Beacons page. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed this video and if you have any thoughts. I always love reading the comments. So thank you for being here. And until next time, I wish you all a beautiful, fantastic start to summer 2026. Okay.